Podcast.
Good morning and welcome to the BrokeMan's podcast. Today we are here with Trenton, aka, can I say Dissent?
Yep.
All right. Where did this Dissent start?
So I think it started in the military, not the name, but the disillusion, I should say.
What do you mean?
So working with the government and seeing its face from a different perspective as opposed to a citizen or a civilian.
Okay.
Seeing how they put themselves first.
What do you mean by that?
Whatever agenda that they're running, whatever they needed to save themselves,
Okay.
is what's going to happen. And then seeing it at the small scale, right? I wasn't a commander, I wasn't going to the Pentagon or anything, but seeing it in training meetings, seeing it in the way officers would lead, really just utilizing the lower enlisted for their personal and career gain instead of mentoring, leading, developing.
Okay. So it's more for it's for them. It's not for the
Right.
actual people.
Right. And I don't want to throw a canvas over the whole thing and
Okay.
group them all up into a box because
Okay.
we've had excellent officers, we've had excellent NCOs. If you're not in the military, that's going to be your sergeants, your corporals that were there for the soldier, putting their needs first.
You met some good
developing.
people there, correct?
I met some great people, yes.
Okay. And when it comes to Dissent and you, are you standing for yourself or are you trying to stand for all?
I want to stand for all. I want everyone to be able to enjoy their liberties and enjoy their life how they feel they should enjoy their life.
I like that. When it comes to everyone enjoying their lives and being in the military and seeing what you saw and establishing your own, a new perspective, I can say, correct? Establishing a new perspective, did you see where there was a need? Like, okay, something needs to change. Changes need to happen.
Yeah, and I think the first change that I saw that needs to happen is come together as one people. I feel we have a lot of cultures clashing right now. We have a lot of you versus me between
I.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I.
Yeah. Okay.
Attacking fellow citizens for their belief system, whatever that may be, instead of adding to the pot and growing from it. I think culture is being utilized as a weapon to keep us the rats in the cage that we are currently, as opposed to using it to develop each other.
So our differences can unite us, is what you're
Absolutely,
essentially
yes.
saying.
Yeah.
Okay. And then instead we're living very separately.
Yep.
Everybody wants their own empire, wants their own thing, and the kind of me factor
Yep.
instead of the how can we thrive as a community
Yep.
and better ourselves as people, no matter the religion, spirituality, any of that.
Right.
And you see a lot of selfishness now because we're so separate.
Right. Yes.
There's a lot that can go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. It is a ideal, especially in the gun sphere. You'll probably hear multiple content creators and influencers. It's about the same idea of having a lot of property, cabin in the woods, being left alone, which is a great goal to have. I get it. I want
Yeah.
to be left to my own devices and live my life how I want to. But I think we need to continue to create community. I think our greatest weapon against government overreach is strength in numbers. If we can all get on the same page of what they're doing right now isn't right, how do we fix this? How do we deny this? How do we resist whatever is being forced on us?
In the midst of that, in the midst of that, I feel that people can get scared and okay, I got to take care of myself.
No, absolutely.
I gotta go. I'm scared, so I gotta go take care of myself and grab the resources for me instead of realizing that together we're stronger. Even me, I recognize that I'm stronger with the people in my life rather than by myself. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah, every now and then being alone sounds really good.
yeah,
It does. But it's I've learned it's for a moment and it has its time and place.
Yeah, and the thing to add to that is if you can build self-reliance and you're self-sufficient, then you are more powerful when it comes to helping out others
Mm,
and building the community.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. So there was something that we'll get back to this too because
yeah,
I can stretch for a while.
yeah.
How do you feel about taxes?
Get rid of them. They need to be gone. Uh,
We get taxed on our paycheck.
we get taxed on everything, and the biggest issue with it, because we do need to be able to contribute to the community. That doesn't go away just because we don't want the government, or at least I don't want the government there. Um, we still need to contribute, but that contribution needs to be turned around and represented to us. And so,
Correctly. I need to see it.
right, like
Yeah.
where's the money going? And then, well, Israel, Ukraine,
Right.
overseas.
Like, where's the money going? Is it going to put that chair in your office? Like, there's a lot of not even miscommunication, a lot of things we don't see with that. And where our taxes are going, we get taxed from our paycheck. You go buy something, you get taxed on that. You get taxed for the. It's a lot. Even within each city, you get taxed on something different. Even when it comes to the sidewalks,
Yeah.
it's crazy,
Car registration.
bro.
We pay every year for
Every
permission to have our vehicles on the road. Why?
that we pay for.
That we pay for.
Yeah, there's a lot that keeps. That's why I strongly believe in community. There's a lot that keeps us from actually hitting that successful mark and succeeding. But if we do it together, we can pull resources. There's a little bit of resources that we have left. We can pull them together, and grow that, and actually disperse it the correct way.
Right.
And we're working on that. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we are working on that. But tax from the paycheck, only to get taxed from what you buy. You get taxed on groceries. You get taxed for your car. You get taxed on every single thing. And I don't think people actually put that into account when it comes to managing finances and whatnot, how much taxes are taken out of everything that you do.
Right.
And then on top of that, like you said, where are all these taxes going? You get a paycheck for what is a net pay? You'll get what, almost $4,000, and then after taxes and everything, you'll look at maybe two,
Yeah.
maybe, and that is a lot.
Yeah, I think I get more radical with every paycheck.
Sorry.
Like,
So you see us as more? Do you see any? Sorry, you see us as more separate than community nowadays.
I do. I do. I think a lot of people have their hearts in the right place, but then at most you'll get a well-written Facebook post about an event that happened, as opposed to what can we do right
can we
now?
do?
What's in our control to help this?
Where does it start at to help it? Even bringing people together, because it's a scarcity. A lot of times, it's a scarcity that separates us, and it is the way, like you said, it's the way society is set up nowadays, and the way that the culture, push that separates us as well. Instead of learning how to embrace each other's culture and learn from it, which
Right.
makes us stronger together. Because culture is beautiful
Absolutely.
and it is needed. I don't care what culture you are from. It is beautiful and it is needed. I've learned a lot from all of my friends from different backgrounds and cultures and spiritualities and religions.
Yeah, I learned a lot myself, especially being in the military. I lived in a box up until I was 18. Small town, Wisconsin. Everyone
Yeah,
looked, dressed, acted the same. But then getting launched into the military and being around all these cultures, being able to learn from others, seeing their side of things it was beautiful.
perspective is everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then you were asking about where does it start in the community?
Yes,
It's easy to say if you see someone struggling, offer help. And we can get into that, but before that, I think it starts with interacting with the people around you intentionally. I don't know if you've ever heard of anything about that or
I have. But first, that makes me think of something. And I'll say this, I am grateful for my friends. I know that if I truly need something or something's happening, we live our life correctly. We live our life to be as good as we can, and we live our life to grow and to treat others as they want to be treated. and my friends will see that, and we are all on accord in that way. So if something happens, they know like, okay, he really needs help. This guy really tries his best to do things the right way. He needs help, and they have no problem helping me. And I want to say that's my gratitude. I forgot about the gratitude in the beginning, but that's my gratitude for today. I am very thankful for my friends, including you, Josh. All right.
I'm very grateful for my hardships. For a long time, they kind of put me in a box. It was the woe is me, blaming everyone else,
Mm.
turn into unhealthy coping mechanisms. Uh, but now I've grown from it, and I use it as a tool to help others, to improve myself, to have a deeper understanding of life. Because I do feel that the deeper you're cut, the more you can feel. Happiness means more when you've experienced sadness.
Yes, it does, and it can bring us closer together as well. Yes. The So the way you're seeing things and the way you view things, you don't want people to, from what I'm hearing, you don't want people to just follow your way. You want people to be more aware of how they are living in life, more aware of their rights, more aware of how they can grow. If I'm
Absolutely.
correct. Okay. You want them to be more aware of and the laws.
Yes.
Jeez.
I want them to be themselves,
Yes.
and I don't want the government to have any bearing on that.
Mm. That'll take a while.
That will
But yeah.
take a long while, and at this point, it feels like fantasy land. It does.
I don't. It feels like Fantasyland, but at the same time, from what we bring and what we're doing as an establishment and as a establishment slash growth group, I think it's very attainable, man.
Right.
Honestly, I think it's very attainable. And when we do reach the point of where we want to be in a fairyland standpoint, we'll be able to teach that.
Yes.
And I think we're getting there. When it comes to laws, what is one law that you think people should know about that is easily looked over or forgotten about? Question.
Reciprocity.
All right, please tell me.
So reciprocity applies to licenseship and how it's accepted by other states. So if you have a marriage license, all 50 states recognize that marriage license. If you have a driver's license, all 50 states recognize that driver's license. But when it comes to your concealed carry license, I have a Wisconsin concealed carry license.
Okay.
If I go to Illinois, if I go to Chicago and I want to carry, and I do carry, I'm breaking their law because they do not recognize my Wisconsin concealed carry license. That's a no-go there.
For
and
me
then
and my ignorance, that just sounds stupid.
it is very
Sorry.
stupid.
But go ahead.
I think the idea of a concealed carry license in itself is stupid. And we can definitely touch on, well, how do we educate proper and safe firearm ownership?
Mm.
But I do know in other states they have what's called constitutional carry. So Texas, for example, you do not need to obtain a concealed carry license to carry your weapon. And as far as the firearm safety and education aspect, seeing as our country was born out of violence, essentially, and firearms are deeply ingrained in our culture, whether you like them or not, I think it's important that our youth coming up at some point, especially as they're nearing adulthood, are familiar with firearms, are familiar with the safety aspect, and can then safely choose whether or not they want to carry to protect themselves or if they'd rather not deal with that space.
We talked about this a few days ago, and I found it very interesting. I was like, great point. Now, when it comes to, I remember you asked me about whether I carry or not, and I did answer, and I asked you a certain question, and I asked I believe it was why should people carry, and then you gave me some insight on something that I wasn't quite aware of.
Yes, so the Supreme Court has
Education
ruled,
piece.
yes, the Supreme Court has ruled that law enforcement officials are not legally obligated to risk their lives in the name of citizens. I have a note here. It was the DeShaney versus Winnebago County, 1989. And the Supreme Court ruled this because they turned to the Constitution, they pointed at the Second Amendment and said, this is your safeguard. Law enforcement is there for support. However, the responsibility for your life and your protection relies on you, and that is what the Second Amendment is partially for. Also, to take a more modern example, we had the Uvalde shooting in Texas. I can't remember the year. I think it was 2022. There was a lot of outrage from it because law enforcement officials were standing outside the building, not attempting to make entry, as youth were in danger in the fight for their lives on the inside of the school. A lot of families sued, and the court system ruled the same way. Law enforcement officials are not legally obligated to protect your life. Could they face administrative action because of it? Sure. But just know that if they have to choose between risking their life or not, there's no court system to mandate that they be there.
Okay. Do you believe that we need law enforcement?
In an ideal world, no. And I do recognize that in our current state of living in our society, law enforcement is a very difficult job. So I don't want to diminish what they do.
Okay. I'm in agreement.
However, how is our law enforcement being used? How has it evolved? And I don't think writing a ticket for someone because their car is out of registration or busing someone having a joint is what they should be used for. And I don't believe they should be as militarized as they are. We have law enforcement officers now that look like your standard infantryman back when I was in the military. They have the night vision, they have the cool rifles and the pistols and all the equipment to breach and clear buildings. And what is that being used for?
Right. By the way, the registration and things that you get taxed on, more taxes come with that. And then if you have to if your license gets suspended, more taxes come with that.
Yep.
And it's just a lot of money. Man, going to the DMV and watching how much something costs, it is heartbreaking. And then having your vehicle registered in one state, and then you got to register it in another state, and then you got to get your insurance transferred over to another state, everything, your license transferred over to another state, and then you're looking at what, $600-700 plus taxes.
Yep.
Yeah. So it really grinds my gears, man. If I can say.
Absolutely.
Now you also spoke about NFA items. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so an NFA item comes from the National Firearms Act, and that's going to apply to suppressors, fully automatic weapons, and short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, explosive devices. I'm probably missing a few things, but the two biggest that most citizens are acquiring is going to be your short barrel rifles and suppressors. So essentially, you are legally allowed to own suppressors and short barrel rifles. And a short barrel rifle is any rifle that has a barrel length shorter than 16 inches. And this law is very twisted, very goofy. I have no idea who it's made to protect, but essentially, if you want to own, say, a 10.5-inch barrel AR-15, you can either register it and pay. It was the $200 tax stamp. However, this summer they reduced the cost of the tax stamp to $0, although the end goal was to remove short barrel rifles and suppressors completely from the NFA, but that did not happen. So you either register it as a short barrel rifle and get your $0 tax stamp, and if you don't obtain your $0 tax stamp, it will be a felony gun charge, and you could see up to 10 years in prison. Or you can get what's called a pistol brace and essentially categorize it as a pistol. So a pistol brace is a less efficient stock, essentially. The idea of the pistol brace is that it straps to your arm in some fashion, and then you can shoot it as if
Okay.
it was a pistol. However, the gun sphere is very savvy and very creative,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to these laws, and we will touch on automatic weapons here in a second. But before I do that, the pistol braces look and can be used as a stock.
Okay.
So that's the other workaround. Going to fully automatic rifles. So we had the automatic rifle ban in 1986. So any firearm that is fully automatic past May of 1986 cannot be legally obtained by U.S. citizens. However, if you acquire an auto sear and or a weapon prior to 1986, you can pay $400 to transfer that weapon to your name, and you can now legally own that fully automatic rifle. And it spurs the question, why can't we have suppressors? Why can't we have short barrel rifles? Why does the government not want us to have new, up-to-date, fully automatic weapons? Because now you're taking a firearm that was originally produced and sold for $1,000, now going for $60,000 because they can't make more of them that citizens can own.
What are guns needed for? Why do we need guns?
For a long time, and it kind of hurt the gun movement, gun owners kind of tiptoed around the idea that guns are made for killing. That's exactly what that tool is used for, is used to take human life, no other reason. They would say, well, it's for my sporting and competition shooting, or no, it's just for hunting, which, yes, they are used in that fashion. I know when I hit the range, it's very fun for me, but there's also practical implication of it as if I need to, I'm going to take human life. And whether that's someone in the community trying to cause ill harm to myself or a loved one, or is the government going to extreme lengths to regain control?
I like that. Okay. All right. When I know for me growing up, I know guns were always used for protection, people being paranoid. I didn't discover the fun aspect of it, of people hunting, which is needed, and they feed their family through hunting and through just fun games,
Yeah.
shooting range and things like that. It didn't register me until I actually moved somewhere else and saw people using it in a healthy way. From there on, like before that, it was all about either you die or I die.
Right.
No other reason. So
Yeah.
okay, I can rock with that. We're gonna take a short break and get back to it.
Cool.
All right, we're back. Let's kick it off with introducing the citizens defense industry and breaking that down to the public and what it is.
Right. So this term was coined by Lucas Botkin. He is an entrepreneur. He started up T-Rex Arms in 2016, and he recently had a falling out with the other owners that he went to business with, and he is launching a new company as we speak. However, during his time with T-Rex Arms, he spoke about the citizens defense industry from the gun sphere aspect, meaning products and training that citizens have access to, and the products that T-Rex Arms was rolling out revolved around increasing the combat effectiveness of citizens. He did touch a little bit in that time about being financially secured and having morals and values, community in that aspect. But mostly when it came to him, when he brought up the citizen defense industry, it was the products available to the population that were being used to increase combat effectiveness. And he did a really great job with this. He had some haters because Lucas Bakken is not from the military. He does not have a fancy background in some special operations unit. And I think it took him a while to establish credibility, but I don't think there is anyone that has done more for the citizens defense industry up until this point than Lucas Bakken. I've actually not heard or seen anyone else actually represent it or even utter those words. So I wanted to take my spin on it and put it in my words and make it more than just the combat effectiveness part. And I summed it up as the capabilities of citizens to maintain safe communities and safeguard our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And those categories are combat effectiveness, which we've touched on, transportation or your freedom of movement, finance, sustainment being food and water, electricity, heating, housing, all of that, and influence. Influence is a big one. That is a huge reason why I started up my social media channels and why I started Dissent and why I want to sell clothing and be provocative and stir thought and emotion surrounding it.
I do want to backtrack just a little bit. Do we need to protect ourselves? Absolutely. We do have times where things are crazy, and there are some people that get provoked and do crazy things, and you absolutely need to protect yourself and your family if the time comes. Not saying we're just out there just all out war, but
No, absolutely.
times happen where you need to protect yourself just in general. Like
Yes.
people are out there inflicting harm for whatever reasons, which it may be, but you need to protect yourself. If
Yes.
somebody comes after somebody I love, either my fists are going to do the talking or something else. But
Yep.
yeah, you have to learn how to defend yourself just in general. We have a life that we live,
Yes.
and it's unpredictable at times.
And I'll say, if we're doing everything right, how we're supposed to, we're maintaining our ability for the citizens' defense and training hard, putting in work, developing community, all of that goes into it. I don't think we'll ever see ourselves at a place where we'll have to take up arms and fight an adversary.
Yes, in an ideal world or a fantasy world,
Yes.
in a fantasy world, yeah, that is very true. But things happen, and we've
Yep.
seen a lot of it happen, and it's not true. So we're not. I'm not gonna. We're not living in a fantasy world. We're human, and we have emotions. We have anger. We have all these, and things happen. It does, and it's just the way it is. Let's. I'm in agreement with you, though. Sorry, I am in agreement with you. But let's move to what does financial capability look like for the average person trying to be more self-reliant?
Right. So, for starters, the financial aspect to the citizen defense industry is the starting point for every other category. Every other category requires finance. That's basically your logistics. And what does that look like? I'm not a finance expert, and I still find it very hard to buy in to our financial systems because I think the system is very broken. But I think if you take an assessment of where you are with your finances, that's the first step. And I think the second step, once you identify deficiencies, will be to develop skills and social capital to gain in the financial world, whether that's learning a trade, whether that's making yourself more marketable, making connections with people in your community.
Yes, networking.
Yes, networking, and you'll have naysayers. You just got that job because you know this person, or the only reason why you're doing this is because you're buddies with him.
Yeah,
But it's very unfair. Everyone has the ability to make connections and develop social capital because social capital is a very real thing. We cannot deny it. If you can make a connection with someone that's going to benefit you, do it and do it respectfully. It doesn't have to be slimy by any means.
does not have to be. You're absolutely right. So besides guns, what are some of the most important combat or self-defense skills a person can learn?
Right. So besides guns, first and foremost, situational awareness. Uh, Don't be tunnel visioned on, okay, I just have to get gas and I have to go pay and then I have to get to work. Be aware of the people and the things happening around you, and it just feels better. It doesn't have to be a negative. You're always looking for threats, but stop and notice, hey, these flowers look good.
You have no
The
idea
weather's
what people are
nice.
capable of, man. And
Yeah,
I do that when I go places as well. I'm not paranoid by no means,
right.
but I'm going to look around. I'm going to be
Absolutely.
situational awareness, man. You have to.
Yes.
You have no idea what's going to happen. You even when driving.
Yeah.
Not everybody's the best drivers in the world, so
Yeah.
you have to look around.
Just because you have a green light doesn't mean that
Yes.
someone's not running late.
Yeah, and you've seen that on multiple occasions. How does being able to move freely or have your own transportation contribute to? Go for
Actually,
it.
I would like to go back. Other than
How
having
far?
a gun, stress inoculation. Do things that are difficult. Do things that's going to increase your heart rate. Do things that scare you. Do things that, when the time comes and you're thrusted into a very stressful situation,
You can handle it.
you can handle it. You don't freeze. You don't want to, because the responses, the stress responses that we're very aware of is fight or flight. But I think a lot of people forget that freeze is another one. I've
Yes.
seen people do it, and it's very scary. And I think after it opens the door to a lot of regret.
Yes, it does.
And then lastly, try to learn a little bit of medical. Uh, in the gun sphere, there's a lot of training that is offered to us that we can take advantage of. You can go out and learn the exact medical trauma response that I learned in the military, the whole March assessment and the things that entail.
Basic skills, correct?
Basic skills.
Basic skills. I do think
Stopping bleeds,
yes,
keeping them breathing.
yes.
Yes.
Learning how to defend yourself, even without a gun. Learning how to defend yourself, putting your hands up.
Yeah.
Learning
Yeah.
how to stop somebody from beating you up. It's absolutely needed,
Yeah.
man.
And you should go get thrown around. You should go get
Yes.
punched.
And we're
Right.
human beings. That's a form of growth for me as well.
Yes.
Yes, and a form of confidence, especially being a guy. I love learning how to defend myself. I love combat sports. I love contact sports. It feels good.
Right.
Yeah, it feels good. And then you
Feel
learn
more
how
capable.
more
confident.
capable. Yes, more confident. And with that, that transfers over to a lot in life, including the women you are with,
Yes.
or the woman. I apologize.
Yes.
Or the woman you are with, the family you have to protect. It feels good. You feel capable. You feel like you can. You have the confidence of doing so. And then with that, also learning how to defend yourself verbally. That's
Yes.
a big one. Learning how to speak, learning how to articulate yourself is another good, it's a good weapon. It's a good weapon. Learning how to be confrontational, learning how to have difficult conversations is needed. If somebody
Absolutely.
approaches you and they're talking to you in a certain way and using words that you don't know, you don't feel capable. You feel incompetent and everything else, and you back down. So learning those is very important, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
All right. All right. So what does responsible freedom mean to you?
You're able to maintain good character even when the option to do bad is there. This is very important, especially for myself, who doesn't want government to be in every facet of our lives like it is right
Everything.
now. Being able to enjoy your freedoms responsibly. Yes, if the government wasn't there with the metaphorical gun to your head to say, don't rape, don't murder, don't steal, do you still do what's right? Do you still hold the line of good?
Mm. Is it a person's responsibility to be more self-reliant and more capable to govern themselves?
Yes, it is the individual's responsibility and freedom to govern themselves. It is the community's responsibility to maintain strength and show the consequences of people who are not enjoying their freedoms responsibly.
I just had a random thought. It's tough for people to stay in a community when you don't have a home. When you're constantly renting, I just thought about
Yeah.
this. Sorry, popcorn thought.
No, you're good.
And you're constantly renting and moving, making
Okay.
different friends, different people, different community every time. It's popcorn thought. I apologize, but it makes it different. It makes it difficult to actually have a community. It does. And people not willing to come together, people not willing to knock on their neighbor's door and say, "Hey, can you guys help me out with this? Hey, can I borrow some sugar?" The old,
No one does that no
no one
more.
does that anymore. No one does that anymore.
No.
Like, hey, can you watch the kid for a little bit? We have to go do this. Hey, you dropping the kids off? Can they carpool with you and whatnot?
Yeah.
I see it every now and then.
Yes.
But yeah, it needs to be more of that shaking your next door neighbor's hand. Now instead, we're all secluded, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, and to sum that up, your freedom to choose is protected. However, you are not protected from the consequences that follow your choices. That is what I'll say about that.
Why is a strong community so crucial for pushing back against government outreach?
So, we touched on it a little bit at the opening. Yes, it would be very nice if we could all live in our bubbles, enjoy our self-reliance and our personal freedoms from 80 acres of land and never have to deal with the bad side of society. However, we need to have strong connections because, like I said before, there is strength in numbers, and if we are all on the same page, I feel a lot of the issues that we're facing, especially when it comes to government overreach, especially when it comes to taxes,
Yeah.
we can have significant impact if we're strong as a community. I like to think of car registration. If everyone in your state just up and did not register their car the following year, what could the government do against that? They're going to take everyone's car? They're going to jail everyone?
Yeah.
They can't. It's not practical.
It's not. I do another thought. I do like the sense of community. I remember a friend reached out and asked if, hey, can you watch my son for a couple of hours? We are going to a concert. And the fact of just having that, having people to reach out to him and show that support and love and small things like that, and then reciprocity is in that too. Anytime I ask for something, they're there, or they say, hey, I can't make it this day, but if you have another time, we can do that. Just that small little bits like that that bring people closer together as a community.
Absolutely.
And I love it. What is a simple, practical way someone can start building a stronger community right now, besides the example I just gave?
Right. Like you said, if you see someone struggling, help them out.
Hmm.
Interacting intentionally. I said that before. And
Interacting intentionally.
What I mean by that is we have interactions with people all the time, but I don't think we give it much thought. You know, we pump our gas, we go in and pay for it. Your total's $9.75. Here's your money, leave.
Plus tax.
And, plus tax.
Sorry.
Plus tax. Here's your money and leave. Well, that could have been a time for you to say, hey, how's your day going?
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
what's your name? What do you do?
Yes.
Yeah. You see someone walking by your house every day with their dog, and you're walking down the street and you see them. Hey, man, I see you walking your dog, you know, usually every morning. Like, what's your name?
The effects of that, man, and the fact that you said it's hilarious because there is a lady that walks down the street, don't even know her name. She just walks by. We give each other a glance of like, okay, awkward. Man, we keep moving.
Yeah.
It's been about 2 years. And she lives about 8 houses down. And every now and then we'll drive by and I'll wave and she'll wave back and whatnot. Old lady with her dog. And never thought about, hey, what's going on? How's your day going? Just that simple interaction. You're correct.
Yes.
I have failed.
Yeah. Just through that interaction, you're building community connection.
There are little things around my neighborhood, like behind me, there's a couple, and they have a garden, and it's very beautiful. And their garden not only goes from their backyard, it goes to their front yard, and they have tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, all types of tomatoes in their front, and it says on the sign, take as you please.
Really?
Pick when you want. Yes.
That's beautiful.
There's a couple houses like that, man. It's beautiful, man. I love it.
That's
And
awesome.
then being able to, when I remember watching them work on their garden a couple days ago and being able to say hi and hello and right across the fence, like, what was it, Home Improvement?
Okay.
The show up and then we're sitting there just speaking to each other. We're not getting to know each other. And then they were like, hey, anytime you want to come over, let us know. We'll have a cookout or
Right.
something. Simple things like that.
Yeah. And then, seeing that challenge to you, like, offer to help.
Yeah,
What do you
bro,
need done with the
absolutely.
garden?
I think that's so much fun,
Yeah.
being able to do that. There was a couple down the street, an old couple, and we, as a community, helped them cut down their trees and collectively did that. And it didn't cost them anything. We just wanted to help, things
Right.
like that. And then now they're more interested in us, and that's when the reciprocity factor kicks in. So I love
Absolutely.
that. Quick question for you, how has the public education system
Ooh.
affected our ability to self-governing?
In short, the public education system has taken our recent generations and all future generations and shoved them into a box. They've been put in a box to grow up, be shipped off to a corporation in need, and become tax cattle.
Hey, Josh, can you look up where the school system started? I know it started from a certain guy, not even in America, I believe, and it was created for soldiers.
Really?
Yes, I believe. If you could look up, yeah, look it up. Let's see where it's at.
Yeah.
Who created the school system and why it was created?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole thing behind that, bro.
Yeah.
Not even a conspiracy theory, it's
No,
real.
it's not. There's no freedom of expression
Yeah.
in a public school.
I mean, you create soldiers, you create people for the workplace.
Yeah.
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 And you create them not to think outside the box.
And
And
I
history is hidden.
yeah.
Oh, you want to go down a loophole? No, let's not do it.
Yeah. But I think it has an even more severe effect on the male population because they do a really good job of curbing our ambitions and our aggression in the
Mm,
public school system.
really?
I think so.
Please explain.
When I was coming up through school, I felt as though I was wrong because I was a man and that I need to break away from masculinity in the form of having that aggression, having that ambition. And then I remember a specific instance as I was graduating high school. I was actually pulled into the counselor's office and they sat me down and they said, "Why aren't you going to university?" Because it was known that I had already expressed interest and that I was going to the military.
Hmm.
You can't go to the military. What are you going to do when you get out of the military? You're not going to have the skills to work in the workplace.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
Yes.
saying these things to me, and I'm 17, 18 at the time. You need to go to college. You need to go learn whatever skill it is that big corpo needs you to do.
Just a second. In Prussia, Germany.
Russia.
Hold on. No, not Russia. Prussia. I don't know how to say it. Prussia, Germany.
Prussia.
Prussia. I said it right the first time. The Prussia education system is often seen as the model of modern schooling. It had compulsory attendance, standardized curriculum, and governing oversight. Train disciplined workers for factories, the goals. Teach obedience to the state and loyalty to authority.
What year was that?
You tell me. Came from the 1700s, I believe.
Did you mean Puritans? Because on here we got.
No, I don't mean Puritans. And then create literate citizens who could follow laws and instructions. And then it keeps going on. In United States, 1800s, Horseman. Oh, that's the one you got?
But no, the first one is 1635, the Boston Latin School
1635, the Boston Latin School.
in New England.
And New England, America. Okay.
And then Horseman created the Common School Movement in the 19th century, which standardized education accessibility to all children.
Mm.
And John D. Rockefeller, the oil man, school system through
Yes.
philanthropist efforts.
So why was it created? And let me see. Why was it created? Industrial needs. Factories needed punctual, obedient, literate workers. Nation building governments wanted to instill loyalty, patriotism. Am I saying it right? Patriotism and shared culture. Social control. Teach morality, discipline, and reduce crime unrest. Education was promoted as a way to give all children a fair chance, though accesses was unequal in practice. Jeez. Yeah, it was
Put 'em
designed
in
to
a box.
it was designed to put them in a box and to give them direction to work where they needed them to work and be obedient.
Absolutely.
Does that sound correct, Josh?
Yeah.
Yep. School system is not made to help you think outside the box.
No.
Even though it's not made to help you think outside the box, but in some ways, taking in a lot of that education and learning, and then having the resources at home, the real teaching, to help you think outside the box, it could bring you a long way.
Right.
It could bring you a long way. Are there some good things to it? Could have been. It's a lot of social interactions and whatnot, and there's a lot of things I learned as an adult that I was not taught as a kid in school.
Oh, for sure.
That's why teaching your kids at home, don't just let them come home and that's it. Like teach them.
Absolutely.
Learn together. It's absolutely needed. But that's a podcast in itself.
Yes.
All right. How does the role of law enforcement fit into the idea of citizen defense industry?
It doesn't. Citizens defense industry does not encompass law enforcement. Like I said earlier, the Supreme Court has ruled that law enforcement is not legally obligated to risk their lives on behalf of yours.
Mm.
I think if through strong community we can curb a lot of the issues that we see law enforcement having to go in and fix. And I think it's apparent because law enforcement officials in a more pacified, smaller communities, say in central Wisconsin, where I'm from, versus law enforcement officials in not as well established communities or where there's gang violence, such as Milwaukee.
Okay.
They have to do a lot more.
Yeah. So that with that being said, let's take another break and get right back to it.
Yep. Yeah. Going back to law enforcement and how it fits into the citizen defense industry, last thing I want to say about that is when emergency events start to break down our public systems, it will be up to you and it will be up to the community to pick up the pieces and secure the future. Law enforcement is not your friend. No one's coming to save you. Be fit, be ready. That's all I want to say about that.
All right. So do banks and the financial system make it easier or harder for people to be self-sufficient?
Oh, it makes it far harder for
Yes.
securing financial freedom and increasing your financial capability.
Feels almost impossible, correct?
It does feel impossible. And when we talk about banks, I don't really mean the credit union in your local town. I mean centralized banks. Because of what has been happening for a long time now, whenever the government wants money, they go to the central bank, that money gets printed, and that cost is handed off to us in the form of inflation. It's essentially, in itself, a tax. But it's not a tax. Oh, it's just inflation. Some inflation is good for the economy. No, it's not.
For what?
Some people say that. Financial
Really?
experts will say that, yes.
How does our current culture values impact our ability to be independent? I think we spoke about that a little earlier too.
We did. Definitely touched on how our cultures at the moment have been clashing pretty bad. You have, for example, the whole left versus right, Democrat or Republican, that has been tearing our country literally in half. And we are so focused in arguing between ourselves about really nonsense.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, all you're doing, if you're truly free people, you should not have to wait for an election cycle to vote, hopefully vote someone in that's going to allow you those freedoms.
Yeah.
I know when it comes to probably a good portion of the gun sphere, there was a lot of high-fiving going on after
Yes.
Donald Trump was elected. I don't think we've seen really any improvement, minus not having to pay a $200 tax stamp for SBRs. I think if you're truly free and you mean it, you're not going to vote for someone's authority to allow you those freedoms.
That's crazy.
And
I
then
thought of it.
other cultural aspects, I think fear is injected into our lives,
Absolutely.
and it keeps us those rats in the cage,
Yeah,
bickering with each other.
That's why we run to a corner and try to hide by ourselves and get everything for ourselves, bro. We're scarcity.
Hmm.
Really. And trying to grab all those resources and keep it to yourself and hoard it, even knowledge and information. Like, you don't want everybody to have it, and that's the mindset. That's what they've given us.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of you're different. You don't do things like we do things. So now you're the adversary. You're the enemy. When really we could be sitting at a table, having really cool discussions about
And we do that.
how we can grow.
Hey, we're great. We're good. We do that. And we are completely different.
Right.
But we're able to do that.
Yes.
And it's fun, and we enjoy it, and we
Yes.
learn a lot every single time. And the last time
And
we were
then the
having a
best
conversation.
conversations.
Yeah, the best
Oh,
conversations. Oh, man. The best conversations. All right, so for someone who feels broke but wants to take action, what is the single most important step they can take today?
I think the first step is to make an assessment of your capabilities. Where are you lacking? Where do you need help in? Where do you need to improve? And then finding solutions for that. For some people, that's going to be financial. For other people, it's going to be combat effectiveness. Or I take a bus to work every day. I really need to get a personal vehicle so I have better freedom of movement. And because Dissent is very gun-centric, I'm going to touch on it a little bit. If you are interested in firearms and firearms training as a way to increase your combat effectiveness, and you do not currently own a single firearm, the first step is going to be a pistol in your budget, a holster, and a light for that pistol. I think a good standard is do not buy equipment if it's going to prevent you from buying the ammo required to train twice a month. If you can go out and shoot a couple hundred rounds a month, you're in a good space. And if you can't really do that, and you can only shoot 50 or 100 rounds at a range, and then you have to go home and dry fire from your holster, then do that. Do it until you're blue in the face. I did it.
Yeah.
I mean, just last year when I was transitioning from the military,
Yes.
when I didn't have a lot of finances at my expense,
Yes.
I bought a weapon in my budget. I bought as much ammunition as I could. And then when I couldn't hit the range due to time or money, I would find time in my living room while I was watching a show, YouTube, and just getting the muscle memory down.
Okay. So all in all, what does Dissent represent?
Dissent represent the citizen defense industry and taking back our communities from the government. I think, from my point of view, the
Okay.
reason why my brand is called Dissent, and that's the name I went with, is because there's a lot of noise going on, and I think my opinion is not very mainstream. I think I'm a little bit more radical
Yeah.
than a lot of the population.
And you want to bring people together.
Yeah, I want to bring people together, but I also want to provoke thought and emotion and be like, hey, this isn't right. I'm going to take a stand to this. This is how I help my community. This is where I drew the line. I want to spread that level of thinking.
I appreciate that. I do, man. Thank you for coming on the podcast. I do look forward to other conversations that we have, and we'll definitely do this again.
Absolutely.
All right, brother.
Don't let life pass you by. Praise the Lord, love your woman, feed your kids, live your life. Make sure you're honest, fight your demons, drink some whiskey, enjoy your family. Praise the Lord, love your woman, feed your kids, live your life. Make sure you're honest, fight your demons, drink some whiskey, enjoy your family. Everything has changed.